Now, the previous video I discussed an analects in the Tao Te Ching. But now we go back to our normal days of reading through the notes and exploring where I am regarding them. Remember, these are notes that are like a month plus old. And at one point in time, what happened was I kind of like started like saving them or writing, spending like a week writing and then basically starting to shoot videos. So on average, I shoot 2 videos every day. I shoot between 2 to 4. And the goal behind that was to actually like elaborate more and understand more the patterns of my thoughts, because the first video is kind of like offy, but the second video I'm like a bit warmed up and my train of thought is a bit like more fluent. And the third and fourth allow for like a lot of clarity because I empty everything out. And on some weeks I actually take like completely off script and I start just like discussing what's going on and trying to get over a certain funk that I have. Today's video is a champion's punch. Champions' punches are heavy. They carry with them unfulfilled dreams. So this is an anime, of course. This is a manga actually. It's called Hajime no Ippo. It's about boxing, but Japanese philosophy towards boxing. And so let me give you some context. Our protagonist is challenging the champion. And what happens is the champion basically has a mock fight with him and he tells him that your punches are not heavy. But the guy naturally is a bit confused because like I reached a point where I'm allowed to challenge the champion. So what's this difference in punches? And there goes the philosophy that I'm going to explain right now. The philosophy of a champion is different than the philosophy of a strong or the best fighter. And the reason behind that is because, and I also did a video about like as well concerning a manga, where the winner of any form of like fight carries the weight of the people that lost to him. He owes it to them, and as they get better or stronger or move forward, they have to take that burden on and move forward. And that basically becomes I want to say the ego, but like I think it's the warrior's spirit that becomes compact and has like a full history and understanding behind like the approach. So the champion's punches are always heavier because of the amount of fighting he had to do or she had to do in order to reach that level. So the separation between like very strong fighters and champions is literally the burden that champions hold. First things first, what they had to go through in order to become champions, and then defending the championship, defending their championship belt according to this. But they say something very beautiful because they carry with them unfulfilled dreams. And it's either your unfulfilled dream or others' unfulfilled dream. So now here, if we are to discuss success as becoming a champion, it's easy for boxers. Why? Because you have to fight, you have to win. You win enough, you actually go to like the bigger fights and eventually enter tournaments that are basically regulated for you to become champion. I sincerely believe it's the same way when it comes to the world. It's just not as organized. Society. Thus, my intuitive vision, or my vision that kind of pulls on the intuition that everything could be gamified, or everything for us is kind of like I'm going to do this. Oh, shit, I lost. Okay, let me do this to become stronger. I'm going to do this again. Oh, this does not take me to where I want to go. Let me do this then. If I do this, okay, I lost, but that's where I want to go. So I'll do this over and over again until I succeed and I start moving forward. And I don't sincerely believe there's competition in this world. But a champion is not really the best fighter, is the person acknowledged as the best. And that's where society kind of kicks in, right? There's that punch in it. And pun intended, I guess. So that punch in it is we really work and we find ways in order to work, whether it's considered training or whether it's considered fighting. Like, for example, right now, my training is to, my work right now is basically training in order for me to finish the website. And then when I finish the website, my work will be to kind of like move it. And then my work would be to kind of like reapply what I learned from moving it to the website until the whole endeavor that I'm going towards is considered as like a successful endeavor, which would technically mean that my actual project is a champion in the field that I'm actually interacting with, right? And it makes sense because I'm going to be not competing, existing with other people that are attempting to be number one, the best, number two, the champions, the ones that actually like grow and all these kinds of things kind of like explode on the scene. And I right now, I'm not really in a place where I could actually look at the people within the scene simply because I'm still in a space where I have to expose myself in order to get feedback to understand where my position pertaining the scene that I'm entering, because my vision is leading me in a certain kind of way. And it's funny because I want to look at it as every single approach towards that endeavor is a failure or an unfulfilled dream of some other person that would have loved to be in that position. And let me rephrase it in a way that works best. Water. If my business was, for example, to provide services for restaurants, every single thing I do until I reach that point is something that already exists in society. There are millions of services when it comes to delivery, when it comes to software, when it comes to organization, points of sale, all kinds of services exist. But naturally, if my place is on that side, that means I have to climb on top of these services. And if anything, maybe even surpass them and fight them. And every single point where I actually like battle with the knowledge and understanding of what that requires from me in order for me to level up, that's an unfulfilled dream for somebody. That's an attempt somebody did at one point that gave me those lessons or allowed me to elaborate on those lessons. Or that's like a scalable thing because you're not starting anything from scratch. You're learning from what other people like failed at or succeeded at. So every single thing that is around us right now is kind of like the combination of a whole lot of things that has happened in the past. And every single one of them carries these emotions of the people that pushed them. And then the more visionary you become, or the more interested you become in like a bigger picture, a bigger vision, the more intentional you become about something like that, more encompassing, the heavier your punches need to be. Or at the very least, the heavier they will be regardless, whether it is the punches you're punching or the punches you're receiving. So the idea behind the championship or like success and how I try to interact with it right now, or it's like just like express it differently, is really here. I don't know if I put it. Championship punches are heavy. They carry with them unfulfilled dreams. Every single step you take is either creating a dream somewhere or absorbing an unfulfilled one. I think that would be the best way for me to to accept that for now, because it allows me to create the path towards everything that goes missing when you're only focused on. And again, I explained earlier or in a previous video where I was attempting to learn something, but I didn't know what I didn't know. And if I were to look at everything I've learned as a bunch of a lot of people giving up or a lot of people losing, or every contract I get or every investment I get or every client I get as other people failing to get them, or people wanting to get them but never even trying, or never, like all that kind of stuff. It really becomes like a championship of where I get acknowledged or my platform gets acknowledged. And my effort is literally to kind of like serve what the champion in that field would actually look like. Serve to the people what they want in order for them to acknowledge my platform to be the champion among all the others. It's a fun way of actually like looking at the world, given that everything is built on a previous concept. So what I am doing, or what I did just now, is allowed everyone else to have at one point had a say in something. Because we are the product of all the movements that happen around us, our environment, the people we meet, and all this stuff. And naturally, it's the same with like the concepts of reality. There are a lot of concepts that died. There are a lot of concepts that are thriving. Buildings were a concept at one point. Before that, houses were a concept. Before that, tables were a concept. Tents were a concept. And evolution kind of builds on top of these kind of like unfulfilled dreams, especially since a lot of people like aim for the sky, but only a few kind of like are worthy to fly. Should I have said that? Gain, understand the worthiness of flight. Understand the responsibility of flight. Oh, much better, much better. Because everything comes with a certain responsibility, and here the weight is basically the responsibility you have to carry if what you want to be is a champion, which effectively reflects on the decision-making process that you do and the intention that you put behind it. It's a video.